I'm Daryl Cherney. I was an Earth First organizer between 1986 and 2003. Organized many demonstrations, benefit concerts, lawsuits, and sang a whole bunch of Earth First songs as well. I was an Earth First troubadour as well. Well, Redwood Summer was the culmination of the first 4 years that Greg King and I were involved in, and later Judy Barry. And we decided that the only way to really get attention on the forest was to bring college kids from out of town to come here for an entire summer and have literally demonstrations every day, targeting Maxam Pacific Lumber, Georgia Pacific, and Louisiana Pacific. Judy Barry and I were car-bombed on our way to a Redwood Summer organizing performance on May 24th, 1990. We were leaving Oakland, more or less on our way to Santa Cruz, where we were to perform a concert at UC Santa Cruz that night. Well, with good reason, I feared for my life. Somebody had just tried to kill us, and the FBI and the Oakland police were blaming us for the crime committed against us. So, yes, we had good reasons to be concerned, to say the least. I think that the Maxam campaign is one of the longest, saddest stories of I Told You So. If you look at the first poster we put out, it said, "Will their jobs be here in 20 years?" During that period of time, I think a lot of people in the timber industry have come around to recognize that we were right about Charles Hurwitz and the Maxam takeover of Pacific Lumber, and also about overlogging in general. But I think that the life in Humboldt County, as far as the timber wars goes, is much more peaceful. It's not that there aren't people still sitting in trees or blockading bulldozers, regardless of whether you know, Mendocino Redwood Company has replaced Pacific Lumber. There are still situations that require protests. But the understanding between the loggers and the environmentalists has become, I think, much more, the understanding has become greater, that even though they still might not like environmentalists or earth firsters in general, they understand that it's not as, the two sides aren't as polarized as in the past.
From the very first day in business, we set out to put policies in place that we had felt we were successful with down at Mendocino Redwood Company. Of note, two policies that we were able to implement the very first day, and that was an old growth protection policy and also the elimination of clear cutting as a silvicultural practice. The protection of old growth, very early on, I took time to go out to meet with some of the activists that had active tree sits out on the property, explain our policy to them, explain the fact that we were no longer going to be harvesting trees that they actually had sits in that were previously slated for harvest. At this point in time, they're slowly removing their sits. They're very complicated and they take a lot of time to put up and take down.
This is Spooner, grandfather tree of this grove in this timber harvest plan. We've been tree sitting here for 3 years now through the change in the company from Charles Hurwitz Maxam Pacific Lumber to now Mendocino Redwoods, called the Humboldt Redwood Company in Humboldt County here. And I'm a voice for the old growth redwoods. I'm representing the forest that's over 2,000 years old. Before this was logged, this was the largest unprotected, continuously connected old growth redwood forest in the world. I'm able to be here in the daytime legally because we have a change in policy that recognizes and respects old growth trees, whether they're in a grove or standing individually on what is now Humboldt Redwood Company land here in Humboldt County. HRC Mendocino Redwoods are leading the way for progressive policy as far as recognizing old growth trees and having it set forth that they aren't cut and they are protected for future generations to see and benefit from.